Co-Opinions. My name is Josh, and today I have Brent with me.
Yo.
So today we're going to get right into the thick of it. E3 2018 just wrapped up, and it is going to be all about the conferences on this one. And we're attempting to do this live, so hopefully we'll get some feedback from viewers like you. So let's go ahead and do this in chronological order. The first conference that happened was EA. Now, I did not have high expectations of it, and from everything I can gather, all of the respondents to the E3 viewing participation, they weren't super impressed with EA.
No.
Brent, was there anything you were even looking forward to?
Looking forward to?
Yeah.
I mean, so looking forward to, the only two things I got out of it were, of course, Star Wars things. They announced the Battlefront 2 Clone Wars DLC.
How did you feel about that?
Well, I really like the Clone Wars, so I'm excited for it. Also, I still feel like we really screwed up, and now we need to pander to the entire Star Wars audience.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this feels like.
But there was another Star Wars thing, wasn't there?
There was, but we didn't get much out of it.
And wasn't it introduced in a real weird way?
Yeah, there was. I watched it prior to us doing this because I did not see the EA conference. They sat there in the audience and talked to each other about it.
Some kind of weird fireside chat thing.
Right?
Yeah.
This is a TED Talk here.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order.
They just generally talked about it, right?
Holiday 2019.
All right.
It is set in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. Set closer to Revenge of the Sith. My understanding is you play as a Padawan who is on the run. It could be interesting.
Well, I mean, they gave us essentially nothing about it, right?
Not really. I mean, again, it's still, year and a half off at best. So when the next Star Wars movie comes.
Well, I mean, we had no expectations of this. The only thing that really jumped out at me, the big thing, is they announced the game Unravel 2.
That's the big thing that they do.
Yes,
we'll get. There's some other
because
things.
It was a surprise to me. Yeah, Ethan, I have to agree on that one. Ethan writes in and says that it was an incredibly cringy moment, the Fallen Order.
Yeah,
I can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
There were two things that jumped out to me. The big one was they announced Unravel 2, and they released it the same day. That was a big surprise to me. The second one was they talked about Sea of Solitude, which is an adventure game. I'm interested in it, but I haven't seen enough to really curate my interest. Oh, don't worry, man. We're going to get to it.
We'll get to it, Anthony. Trust me. So, Sea of Solitude, is that like the Sea of Thieves thing?
No, not even slightly.
Okay. I did not look at this game, so...
They also announced Command & Conquer Rivals, which is a mobile game. Hot diggity daffodil.
Oh, yeah. I talked to a friend of ours about this, and then I talked to a friend of the show, Mark. I'm like, they announced a Command & Conquer game. It's mobile, for what that's worth.
Yeah, so I'm sure they glossed right over it.
Well, you're glossing over Anthem?
So that was the big thing at the end, but when they announced it last year, it just looked like it was going to be Destiny EA version.
Oh, and that's exactly what it is.
Right. So
Okay, so I showed this to a friend of ours. I have not heard from friend of the show, Mark, about it yet. We only briefly talked about it. I'm not a dude who has played Destiny. I will not claim to, but I've seen my friends play enough Destiny, and holy crap, they might as well have just stolen the game files.
Yeah, I can't speak to it. That's why I have no interest in it. Do you have anything else interesting about EA?
They announced Battlefield 5, the Battle Royale mode.
If any game needs a Battle Royale mode, I would say Battlefield is one of them, so I'm not going to give them a lot of sass about that.
No, and I don't think I'm not giving them sass. There's no single player for...
That's
I
interesting.
think there's a story for Battlefield 5.
Gotcha. Well, and they've shown recently that people playing those kind of games are doing the campaign less and less.
See, I have people that would argue that one.
That's fine, but that was the announcement.
Well, EA says a lot of things that aren't actually true.
Again, 2% approval rating for that's what I saw.
Well, I was going to say, Battlefield 5 is essentially going back to what they were before Battlefield 3.
All right.
So...
Can we wrap up EA? This is the one I do not care
Yes, we'll get to
about.
Microsoft.
Okay. Microsoft, shockingly impressive conference. I'm going to say that they were the most impressive conference, And I don't care about the Xbox One. I own it, but I don't really care about it. They knew exactly who their audience was because they opened with an announcement of a new Halo game. Notably, Halo Infinite is not Halo 6. They have gone on the record and said that. Viewer Ethan mentioned that he thought that Battlefield 5 is going to have some interesting untold stories. Battlefield 1 had that, so Battlefield 5 he believes will. Yeah. But moving on to Microsoft, they knew exactly what they were doing. They showed big first-party thing. People have been wanting a Halo game. People were talking about, we want to see Halo. And then, okay, you got...
So we gonna start with Halo?
We got it. It's how the conference started.
Was it?
Yes.
I was just about to say that, Anthony. Yeah, it's not Halo 6. It's a continuation, but not a continuation. That's so weird.
It's still got Master Chief.
Yeah, but it feels like we were talking to a friend of the show, Mike, our editor, Mike.
Okay.
Beforehand. I gotta agree with... It feels like they're doing it to kind of pander to the people who were upset about Master Chief not being a whole lot in the last one. And he's upset there's going to be stuff in it that... hope I'm getting what he said right. That's just going to be like they gloss over and be like, hey, this stuff happened in a comic. And they throw that in later.
Strange.
I'm intrigued, but I'm intrigued also how they continue a story where they kind of left the previous one on a cliffhanger and not finish it off.
I don't know. Editor Mike said that it wasn't enough of a cliffhanger.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. But, and I apologize, I'm not deep into the Halo, so I can't contribute a lot to this, but I know people are excited.
I've still not played Halo 5, which
I haven't played any Halo after the third one.
You still know that.
Yeah. Anyways, the next game they talked about was Ori Will of the Wisps. Now, I gotta say, I'm stoked for an Ori 2 because I love Ori, but I wanted a release date. I know it's gonna be beautiful, I know it's gonna play great, but I want a release date. 2019 is not a release date. That is a calendar year.
Man, you know how many games said 2019 at this year?
Yeah. Well, and when we get to it, that's why I think Nintendo did very well at this conference, but I'm getting way ahead of ourselves. The Ori trailer, if you haven't beaten the first one, has some huge spoilers for the first one, but you wouldn't know it's a spoiler unless you played the first one.
Did not watch the Ori trailer.
It's so good.
I just saw
so pretty.
I should probably still play the first one. I have it with my Xbox.
It's amazing. But after, you have no opinion, other than it was pretty, right? Because you watched it.
The trailer this year?
No, you didn't. Right, you just said that.
Yeah.
Anyways, after that, they talked about the new From Software game, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Basically looks like if Dark Souls was a ninja game. I'm not going to play it because I'm tired of getting destroyed in their games. Right now I'm struggling through the game Neo. I might be done playing these kind of games. It's just not super... Now, it looks beautiful, looks like it'll play well, and I'm curious what the hook is.
Would you... Okay, so I saw someone post something about a t-shirt about Dark Souls just today, where it said that people give these games a break by saying that they're good because they're hard, but their controls just suck. Would you agree with that, or would you say that's...
So, I can't super disagree. Hear me out. Because the games play like I would imagine trying to fight these kind of things actually play. Like, it's hard to swing a sword. You swing a sword slow if it's giant.
Yeah.
You can't roll around easily in armor. That's where Neo is weirdly different, is you have very fluid controls where you move very fast. You move like it's Ninja Gaiden.
Okay.
So, anyways.
Well, that is what those people made.
And, yeah. Fallout 76 was teased after that, but we'll get on to it in Bethesda, right? They also talked about The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which is a free adventure-type game set in the... What is that? The one where you can change time, go back and forth. Life is Strange. It's set in the Life is Strange universe, which I think is interesting because it was free. I think it's already out. They're trying to flesh out the world.
This is something... Do you find it interesting the number of other studios that are like, these games are free today or out today?
I thought that was awesome. The next thing that came up was they said Crackdown 3 is coming out 2019. This was a big deal when it was announced because they pushed it back. Now, to their credit, they figured out how to make that game look more interesting. It's basically, what if we made Terry Crews a superhero?
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested in Crackdown 3 again now.
I'm interested. I don't know if I could spend full price.
Well, so they kind of took it the Saints Row route, where now it's just, it was already ridiculous. Now it's super ridiculous.
It wasn't already. The first two did not feel like they were serious in the slightest.
Well, in this one, from the trailer, you're going to be fighting a person riding a giant robot snake. So, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm actually somewhat interested in this now. They were pretty sparse on some of the important details. Like when the game came out, they mentioned that it was going to need to be online to have the big destructibility. They sure didn't mention that at all. So,
I didn't catch that part. I thought it was interesting, the destructibility. I'm like, that's new.
You have to be attached to the cloud to be able to do that. Yeah, well, that's what they said originally. They haven't said anything about that since then. Lame. There were some other small announcements. Nier Automata is getting released on the Xbox One X. Shiny, blah, blah, blah. Metro Exodus, I'm sure a friend of the show, Jake, is super stoked about that.
I think I have one of them. I should play them.
I got the first one for free on Steam. I'm never going to play it. They showed the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer. They were technically the first person at E3 to show that, but it got released before all the conferences started. So the release date wasn't anything new. Yeah. Well, we'll get to taking the steam out of it. The next thing that was shown was Sea of Thieves. Now, they did for this what I thought they should have done when it was announced. They showed what's coming next. They showed new content. They needed to show that when the game was launched. Because when it came out, from my understanding, I haven't played it. When it came out, there wasn't a ton of content. So people just kind of got to the end real fast and ran out of stuff to do.
I'm not tricking myself. Sea of Thieves is Ubisoft, right?
Sea of Thieves is Rare.
Okay.
That was the pirate MMO.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the one that Ubisoft did.
You're thinking of Skull and Bones, I believe. And we'll be getting to that later.
We'll get to it.
I guess they talked about Battlefield 5 at the Microsoft conference. I was going through a patchy area of service. I had to go to a family dinner during this, and I'm sitting there on my phone just watching. They're like, "Josh, what are you doing nowadays?" Watching my phone. So they also talked about Forza Horizon 4.
I know we have some friends who would be interested in it.
There are some friends. We are not them. And I thought it looks gorgeous. I just don't care about it.
I'm not big into racing.
And there was also a bunch of talk about how the different seasons affected the different racing.
Interesting.
Like, don't get me wrong. They put a lot into it. I'm just not a racer.
Yeah, I wish we had friend of the show Mark is into these games. So.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody will have an opinion here. But they also announced that We Happy Few, the game that's gone through somewhat of a tumultuous development. Well, because it was a Kickstarter game originally, I believe. And the premise seemed really interesting, but the execution was not well communicated. Where it was more of a roguelike where you're trying to escape from an area, they made it seem like the dystopian environment was going to play way more into the narrative, like there was going to be a real strong story emphasis. And the original beta version, as it's been in early release for 2 years at this point, not particularly well communicated. So now it's coming out in August on Xbox One. Strong story trailer. We'll see how that goes.
So are we going to hit the triple threat here?
Which triple threat?
The Gears triple threat.
Okay, so not yet. We got to blaze through a couple other things. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds coming to Xbox One. Hooty-doo. Tales of Vesperia Remastered also coming. Fortnite was not mentioned on here. Session, a skating game. You might be interested in that. That looked like they brought Skate back. So... yeah, I don't know. You got more?
No, I know I was into the Tony Hawk games. It depends on how it is.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be good, but it looks way more technically focused. And Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 sucked eggs. I warned you it was
my personal opinion is most of the ones after...
To each their own.
I liked the Tony Hawk games. I'm not sure. It depends if I like Skate or not.
You've never played Skate.
I don't know. Yeah, well, is it like Tony Hawk?
It's far more technically minded. I would say if the first two Tony Hawk games had way more emphasis on the actual mechanics of it than it would be like Skate. Now, who's your gentleman friend?
It is Anthony.
Anthony might be able to speak to this more. I was a big fan of a lot of the Tony Hawk games. So I played Ali Ali, as we talked in a earlier podcast, which was less about, well, it was very ridiculous, but it was different. Anyways, so moving on real fast, they finally announced Devil May Cry 5. At least somebody was super happy about that. I don't care. I haven't played anything since the third one. One of my friends tried to get me into the reboot. Didn't care. Didn't play the fourth one. Just, some people are excited because this is big news. It's been half a decade since the reboot, a decade since Devil May Cry 4. God. Yeah, right? It has been a long time. They also announced The Division 2. All right.
Yeah, I talked to friend of the show, Mark, about this because he has a bitter taste in his mouth from the end of the first one. I'm intrigued, but I can't speak to all the story. I'm intrigued from the fact that it's no longer just in New York, that it's set in D.C., so there's got to be something there, but I never got around to playing the first one, and Mark's experience kind of jaded me to that one, too.
Yeah, I can see that. They showed a bunch of gameplay for Shadow of the Tomb Raider. That game looks awesome.
I knew you and Jake would be excited.
That game looks super awesome. They also announced there's going to be Cuphead DLC. I still need to pick that game up, but I'll get to it. There's going to be a new level and a new character. Don't know how the character's going to play. Don't know how the level's going to compare. So I think it's interesting. It's still getting that kind of support. That's great to hear because I know they put everything on the line for that game. They also showed an isometric Zelda-like game called Tunic where you played as a little fox. That game looks delightful. That needs to be on your radar. Well, you're not great at isometric games, so maybe not. I'm interested. They also announced that giant crossover fighter between Naruto, One Piece, and Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. More power to you, I guess. Go ahead.
What was I say? It's not like fighters. Yeah. I'm only into Dragon Ball Z. I mean, I know people that are into Naruto, but...
Yeah. Dying Light 2, I didn't play the first one. Battletoads, that was an interesting announcement, but it was only a teaser. They didn't show anything.
I'm not shocked they're trying to revamp Rare properties.
But at the same time, I gotta say, a complaint I'm hearing about this Battletoads teaser, they're like, oh, what do you mean it's only three-player co-op? That's how many Battletoads there are. Well, what if they added a fourth one? It's a 30-year-old franchise. You can't just go add new Battletoads. It's not like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles just add new turtles every time they rebooted. So, I have no problem with it. I've heard...
This is a sacred franchise. You cannot ruin the continuity of Battletoads.
That's right. Because now I can call GameStop and be like, do you have Battletoads? And they'll be like, yes. So, I'm actually looking forward to that. Just Cause 4 looked awesome. If I cared about Just Cause, nice. And we'll talk about the triple threat here, the Gears games. Oh, Ethan, it's not a Battle Frog. I might have to put you in timeout in the... That's a thing I can do.
Battle Frog.
Shame. Anyways, they announced a Gears Pop game that's mobile.
So you didn't watch the trailer because I watched it before. It's amusingly adorable.
It's Pops. Of course it's going to be adorable.
I'm curious what it's like because the trailer saw a team of what looked like Marcus Phoenix. I don't know which...
Oh. Oh, God.
He is their Splinter.
No. Finish up the thing.
It's Marcus Phoenix, Locust, and I don't know who the female was in the trailer.
I don't know.
Possibly the one from the new game, but I can't remember what her
Well,
name
she was
is.
in 4 too, but yeah. Katja? Maybe? I don't remember. Go ahead.
But it looked like an adorable shooter where you're running around as pop people. And they don't make real dialogue. They just make...
grunting sounds?
Well, no, wait. The Locust, when he shot his gun, yelled boom.
Nice. So it's a boomer. So Gears Tactics looks like a game you would have loved in high school.
Yeah, but it's for PC, which is where I would want that at.
Right.
When they announced Tactics, I'm like, so we looked at other franchises and we're like, we made an RTS for Halo, and Final Fantasy made Tactics games, so we need to expand on the Gears franchise to have more first-party games.
I guess. But Gears 5, shocking they talked about it. And it's not shocking.
But I wasn't shocked.
That was sass.
I know.
Pure sucker.
Well, you were like, I don't think they'll be here.
I didn't say that. I said Gears 5 would be there.
We talked about earlier in the year, you're like, I don't think that they'll be talking about Gears 5 this year.
Well, yeah, right. I'm still not surprised they did. After Walmart, right?
After Walmart leaked everything.
Yeah, after they gave it up. No, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna play it. I think it's interesting. You don't have the same main character. JD is not the same. Yeah. So that's kind of... Also, JD now looks older than his dad. How weird is that?
Again, 4 was better than I gave it credit for at the time. I mean, it's still Gears, but...
Yeah, we'll play the 5th one. I'm curious where it's going. And they ended it on a very, I'm going to say, bold note. They showed a trailer for Cyberpunk 2077, the new game from CD Projekt Red. And it looks awesome if I was into that kind of game. I'm not, but I'm sure it'll be super awesome to the people who do like that kind of game. It is a first-person sci-fi RPG. I mean, more power to them. It looks rad. I'm just not into that kind of game. So I think Microsoft did awesome because not only they really seem to have taken stock of where they are and where they want to be. They addressed both first and third party content. They didn't try to puff themselves up too much. They really tried to show that they were committed to strong gaming and not beating the competitors. Like, they were humble and they delivered. Like, they were good this time around.
I'll give them better than last year.
Yeah, they've really been trying to retool it since they announced that.
We did miss. They talked about an AI upgrade for some amount of improvement to AI. I saw an upgrade thing that they talked about.
I have no idea.
I'd have to find it.
Okay,
but yeah, they talked about some kind of AI upgrade to software to make the enemies better.
Oh, more power to them. Yeah. So we're gonna have to start to make this a little snappier because we're taking a lot of time. It is E3, so it'll run a little longer, but we're 2 conferences in out of 6 conferences, and it's been 25 minutes. So, and we have, I'm including some of the smaller ones. So, Bethesda was the next conference. This was my second favorite conference of the entire E3. But I'm also a huge fan of these properties. So, I think that they need to be careful, though, and I'll explain why at the end. So they started by showing Rage 2, which was supposed to be their big out-the-gate surprise, and they throw some amazing shade on that one. Yeah. The game that was announced by Walmart Canada, best known for their low prices and their inability to keep a secret. I thought that was pretty fantastic. I don't care about Rage 2. I'm glad that whoever wanted it...
I think of all the things they mentioned, it's the least I cared about.
Really? More than Elder Scrolls Legends or Elder Scroll Online?
True.
Okay.
True. But I'm also not an Elder Scrolls guy.
They're valid. And the next one I thought was pretty fantastic because I had predicted it as an outside bet was... Ethan, you'll have to give us a little more clarity. I'm not sure what specifically you're referring to there. But anyways, the... next game I actually called an outside bet a few episodes ago, the Doom sequel.
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, we both thought that was coming.
We knew it was going to come, but we didn't know specifically when it was going to come.
Oh, Rage 2.
Oh. Yeah, they should have done that. They really should have done that. But that was a unique Rage 2 approach when they announced the collector's edition in the game.
Oh, yeah.
So they showed us nothing Doom.
They did not. I'm excited. Well, 2019.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to the Skyrim joke that was done masterfully.
They stole our joke.
They did. So Quake Champions was talked about, whatever. Prey's doing really well. It's getting DLC, more power to it. Shocking Wolfenstein news. Yeah, I still want to check that out.
The Wolfenstein's interesting.
That they're coming out with a sequel co-op game next year based in the 80s. So it's a sequel to the second one. You play as BJ Blazkowicz's twin daughters. I don't know. I am intrigued. But
well, I'm intrigued, but I still need to play the other ones.
Yes,
I think I said to Mark that I'm like, yeah, I gotta catch up.
So, anyways, I think it was about this point they made the Skyrim joke where they went in and they said Skyrim very special edition where you can play on Alexa.
Which you can play on Alexa.
Yes, the next day they made it available for free, which was just a bold move. And then they continued the joke and they said you could play it on a Motorola pager and a smart fridge. And Brent texted me while this was going on. He's like, dude, they stole our joke. And the episode that we recorded
today. Sorry.
The episode that went up 2 episodes ago at this, we said that exact joke, Samsung smart fridge.
Yeah.
So they officially killed it, and they made good on why they killed it later in the conference. But next they talked about Fallout 76. Now, this game made a big impression on Brent. Brent, I'll talk about the specifics. It is an online-focused Fallout game. Now, they've said it can be played offline, but I'm dubious as to how well it will play offline.
Yeah. Well,
they said there's no NPCs.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
So how do you play offline if there's no NPCs? The reason I was attracted to it was because, I've been interested in the Fallout games. I should really play. I know you've tried to get me to play Fallout 3, New Vegas. I know Anthony here will say he's tried to get me to play Fallout 4.
Nah.
And I told him, everyone I know likes a different one. So
New Vegas is my favorite.
Well, and Aaron likes all of them.
Yeah, but that's Aaron. So,
and the fact that this is a prequel set before all of them, shortly after, 20 years after the nukings.
It's after Reclamation Day, which, is it 20 years?
I know 20-something years after.
Yeah, I know you're one of the first people that come out of the vaults after the fallout is supposed to have subsided enough for you to take back the wasteland.
And because you guys like Fallout, I figured it'd be an interesting game that we could play cooperatively.
And I think there's a lot of really interesting ideas in it. Like the fact that you can go around and collect nuclear launch codes to launch nukes.
I did see a meme where someone's like, Fallout 3, find your son. Fallout 3, find your father, I think it is.
3 is find your father. 4 is find your son.
Ethan says it's not offline per se. It's just you don't have a team up.
Interesting. We'll see how that pans out. We'll get more details, but it's coming out crazy soon. Yeah. It's coming out in November.
Yeah.
So, but they did the exact same thing with Fallout 4, too.
But, they did.
They did.
Oh, but the last part of that meme was Fallout 76 allows you to get the nuclear codes to blast some screen name into oblivion.
Yeah, the best. So, I thought that it was a clever bit of self-referential humor that they said that they're going to... So, to speak to Anthony's point, he's concerned about how online play is going to work. I think we need more concrete details, and I think the beta is going to help hash a lot of that out. Because I thought that was the clever self-referential humor that they put out there, was the fact that they're like, sometimes we put stuff out and it doesn't work. I read that on the internet. Their games are always sinfully buggy.
Yeah.
Always. I mean, that's why it took me...
I was going to say, is anything not sinfully buggy anymore?
Bethesda Fallout
I know Bethesda,
notoriously bad. But, I don't know. We'll see how it pans out. We're going to need something after Grand Theft Auto Online wraps up. That would be funny. I'm sorry. So
that's exactly what you would do to your own team.
Yeah, I do that to you.
I can actually see it now.
There's concern from the viewer that there'll just be random nukings out of nowhere, and I would find that hilarious.
As someone who's taking us up in the air, in Grand Theft Auto in a plane and bailed out on us, yes, I fully expect you to nuke your own people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So they also made some other small announcements, like Fallout Shelter was coming out on multiple systems. Elder Scrolls Blades was available on mobile, whatever. They were working on a new IP, Starfield, and then why they killed the Skyrim joke was because they said, congratulations, Elder Scrolls 6 is in development. Everybody got psyched. That game's not coming out for half a decade. Like they said it was in...
I think it's that long.
I'm going to give it 3 years. I'm saying half a decade for purposes of hyperbole.
I know Anthony would be psyched.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I wasn't shocked that they finally announced Elder Scrolls 6. It had to come sooner or later. Oh, did they say it comes out next year?
Elder Scrolls 6? No.
Did it?
No. There's no possible way. They said that it's coming out after the Starfield IP.
I wish we would have gotten more concrete on the Starfield IP. I'm intrigued.
And that's why I don't think it's coming out for at least 3 years, is because they didn't tell us anything but a name for the Starfield IP. So I'm glad they're starting something new, but... Well, I'd be curious if Elder Scrolls and Starfield both came out next year. The fact that we saw literally nothing about Elder Scrolls, and we saw we didn't even see a cinematic trailer for Elder Scrolls. We at least saw one of those for Doom Eternal. So that is my concern, that it won't be out for a few years. So, are you finding anything to back up a 2019 release date for Elder Scrolls 6?
I'm trying to.
Okay. We'll loop back around if we can find anything. In the meantime, I'm going to talk about some other smaller conferences. Devolver Digital had a conference, and what would they have to say for like release next year? So, Anthony,
Well, pull a Fallout 4.
Pull a Fallout 4.
Where they don't show the real trailer until like 3 months before they launch it.
You mean like they did with 76?
Well, that too, yeah.
Okay. About to say. So, I don't know. I'm curious where it's going. But Devolver Digital also had a conference, and more than anything, the big thing to take away from the Devolver Digital conference was their localizing Metal Wolf Chaos XD, which was a game where you play as the President of the United States, except you pilot a mech to save America, and you're saving America from the Vice President who tries to usurp you and destroy America from space. So...
Yeah, I'm also getting the, they don't want to say when they're releasing it. Todd Howard said they would be foolish to say when they would be releasing Elder Scrolls.
There's no way it's next year. I will come back and personally say I was wrong if they say Elder Scrolls 6 is coming out next year. I just cannot see it happening. But yeah, Devolver Digital, it was a small thing. It was an attempt to be self-referential. It went a little too hard in the paint for me, so whatever. Square Enix had a what's up?
Square Enix.
You want to talk about Square Enix?
Continue.
So their conference was cool, I guess. I mean, it was a digital event first and foremost. Viewer Ethan, contributor to the show Ethan, brought up that it was an online showcase. They just stitched it all together. There were 3 announcements from the Square Enix trailer. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, not new. Final Fantasy XIV, that was new. It was a new patch that had a lot of FF12 content in it. I'm curious to see how that pans out. Fans of that game, probably super stoked for it. I don't know. They also announced cross...
I thought you liked 12.
I don't play 14, though.
Okay. I'm reading into this wrong.
Yeah, you're reading it backwards. They also announced a crossover with Monster Hunter World. I mean, they've crossed over with many things.
Okay.
So, and again, Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, because that's Square Enix. Dragon Quest XI, they showed officially for the first time, but the release date got announced a while back. For people who like Dragon Quest, this trailer was supposedly awesome. And honestly, it looked pretty cool, but I don't play Japanese RPGs like that, so I'm super excited for whoever wants to play it, but it ain't me, it ain't you. They did announce a new game from Platinum, Babylon's Fall. Did you see the trailer for that?
I did not.
That was rad. It shows first this huge history spanning thing, and then a giant knight comes out with a sword, and oh yeah, we'll circle back around to that. Oh, we haven't even got there yet. Okay. So a huge knight guy comes out with a sword, then you see a bunch of like tendrils attached to his arm, and a much smaller knight rips his arms off with the tendril and then cuts him in half with his own sword arm. Is from Platinum Games. Okay, yeah, all right. The people who made Bayonetta. Like, okay, I can see that.
I'm to the Switch?
Probably not. Oh, but who knows? And then they talked about Nier Automata, Octopath Traveler, Just Cause 4, whatever. We've heard about those in different conferences. And The Quiet Man, which had the weirdest announcement trailer. Some emo dude walking through the street. He comes up to some thugs. The thugs intimidate him. And he holds his finger up to his lips. And then there's some generic third-person brawling for about 15 seconds. That's how they announced The Quiet Man. I don't know what it is other than... I thought they were like maybe going to reboot God Hand in a weird, gritty way. You never played that.
I did not.
It's an over-the-top brawler. There was not enough for this to be considered an announcement for me. They also brought up Kingdom Hearts 3. There was a little additional content. Yeah, I have to agree with Ethan about The Quiet Man. Like, I thought it was going to be a new Infamous game or something, which doesn't make any sense because that is Sucker Punch. I believe that's Sucker Punch. So I had no idea. Maybe it was a new prototype game? I don't know, but it wasn't. It was just some weird dude with weird hair beating people.
God, when was the last prototype game?
Before that company went out of business.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, that was a while ago. 2011? Yeah. So, Kingdom Hearts 3, they showed some more footage. I gotta say, I'm gonna buy it because I'm committed to seeing this to the end. But, man, at the same time...
I read an article where they asked if this was going to be the end of his story.
He wouldn't say anything. Yeah, I saw that. So, it was an okay quote-unquote conference, but they didn't bring any sizzle, if you ask me. Which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world, but I felt like if they would have just held out on a few... If their conference would have come first... They would have had a lot of impressive stuff.
Yeah, instead of giving their stuff to Microsoft.
And showing it first and etc. Like, it wasn't there. So, more power to them, I guess. But Limited Run Games technically had a conference. And all I'm going to say is that they're releasing a lot of independent games physically. If you care about this, go check it out. I personally am not a huge fan of buying a digital game physically over a year after it came out. Like
I still feel like you have.
I do not think I have. What I do is I buy the vinyls of the soundtracks because I still want to support them, but double dipping.
Did you buy Undertale digitally or?
Digitally, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I knew you were going to try to get me on that one. Denied. One of the only two that I'll really mention here is Salt and Sanctuary, the game by the dishwasher people. That game was fun. It was crazy hard, but that game was fun. And Dust and Elysian Tale is actually coming to Switch.
Ooh,
right?
Oh yeah, wait, we knew this. It was leaked. There we go. Yeah. That's how we knew this.
So that game was really good, and I would enjoy seeing a sequel to that game. But yeah, if you're interested in physical editions of digital independent games, check out Limited Run Games. They're going to have a bunch of them. So, the next conference was Ubisoft. Do you want to take this one? Because I cannot get stoked about most of this. The only thing, near the beginning, there was Beyond Good and Evil 2. They actually showed some cinematic trailer. I know people are somewhat stoked for that. I didn't play the original, so I can't speak to it. And at the end, they did Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
So before we hit that one, Transference, I was intrigued, but I feel like it's nothing. Is it for VR? Am I wrong in this?
So I started watching the conference. I'll be honest with you here.
I missed it, so I can't.
I started watching it, and when it started up into the Rainbow Six Siege talk, like, God, I do not care. God, I don't care. So I stopped watching it, because I knew the only thing they would have for me is Assassin's Creed Odyssey near the end.
So, Transference was in borderline. It's that game with Elijah Wood that he helped.
No, Elijah Wood?
Yeah.
So, not the fact that Beyond Good and Evil 2 is putting music in it with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Were you not aware?
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, he came out on stage. He's like, yeah, my company's working with a lot of independent artists to get their music out there. And like, man, I hope you don't steal their stuff and not be like, this is for exposure.
I think it looks interesting, but we've been burned on first-person horrors before.
It's a first-person horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. Nope. Mm-mm. Oh, yeah. That was a great thing from the Beyond Good and Evil 2. So, after they came out and presented it, Ethan brought this up just now. While the presenters walked off stage, their mics didn't cut out. So they're like, oh, we killed that. Yeah, we did awesome. Like, they're really pumping themselves up. And I'm just giggling. And I'm like, nothing else in this conference will top them pepping themselves up. I'm just glad they didn't cut out. And this is one of those things you guys will get live because this will all get edited out. So all that's going to get cut out when it actually gets posted later. Yeah. So I'm glad that they were just really cute about it. So
Starlink.
That's the game that's all Star Foxy.
Yeah.
And it has Star Fox in it.
Well, yeah. So I have slight interest in it. If it wasn't for the fact that it's another Toys to Life game, maybe the thing that kills it for me.
What, you don't want to buy more Amiibos?
No. Lego's already done.
Oh, they burned you real bad. Real bad. Are you interested in the Skull and Bones game?
Don't get me wrong. I think we all really liked the
Assassin's Creed. Well, yeah, Assassin's Creed 4. Like,
Rogue.
this is...
Yeah. I want to be, but
it's like that time has passed.
It has.
Like, 7...
We'll get to boating stuff here in a second.
All right.
But yeah, I want to, but I feel like it's not the same.
Yeah, they're trying to recapture something that was more in the zeitgeist back when 4 and Rogue came out. Like, now nobody's clamoring quite the same.
No.
So
Assassin's Creed?
So, yeah, we'll just go ahead and see. Unless I don't think any of our viewers are particularly interested in the rest. So, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Brent, I'm going to let you take the reins on this one because, don't get me wrong, I'm going to buy it because Assassin's Creed Origin was super good. But, like, I don't know anything going into it.
So, I'm intrigued, but I'm also baffled at the same time. So, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which we debated, what do we call this acronym-wise?
We can't call it ACO.
We're calling it ACO squared.
Yeah, that's not confusing. Go ahead.
I'm intrigued because I really liked the Greco period, ancient Greece. So when they said, "Hey, it's gonna be ancient Greece," I'm like, interesting. That's at least 400 years prior to the game you just called Origins.
Yeah.
So where are you going with this?
Origin harder.
I think we talked about this on a previous podcast because when it got announced, when it got leaked.
Right.
I thought it was going to be about Darius. For anyone who doesn't know, that's someone in Assassin's Creed 2.
Well, spoilers.
Oh boy, for a almost a decade old game as of next year.
Okay, go ahead. Ooh.
So, in Assassin's Creed 2, Darius is one of the people you have to get a seal for to get the armor of Altair. He's claimed to be the one who first used the Hidden Blade and killed Xerxes I, who is, you would best know him if you've seen the 300 movie or know anything about 300. He was the Emperor of Persia.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it is, so to Anthony's point where he said he doesn't know if it's going to be modern day stuff. Everything I heard said there is going to be modern day stuff.
There's got to be modern day stuff.
There's a pretty heavy continuation of the modern day stuff. I'm just curious why
it's going back further.
Yeah, I want to know why it's going back further. Why I thought it would at least involve Darius, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
So is this game about the formation of the what did the Proto-Templars call themselves?
Order?
The Order.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. This is about the formation of the Order. Because
I'm still going to go back to the fact that I was really confused that they called something the Snake, and the Snake never really got brought up.
So, yeah, Ethan hit what I was going to talk about. So what's interesting was I was hoping it would be set during the Greco-Persian Wars.
It's set after it.
That's when the 300 event happened. It's set 20 to 30 years after it. So Xerxes is long dead. And it's set 400 years prior to Origins. I'm interested. I want to know what's going on here.
You want to know why?
Yeah, Origins was good, so I'm excited. But I'm also really curious about the time period.
Well, I'm curious about some of the gameplay things they showed. Specifically, that's another thing. Anthony brings up the point about the canonicity of these characters, right?
Yeah, the gender, because they have the same storylines.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Right, and they also give you the ability to romance characters in this.
And then I'm curious, does this have something to do with the First Order stuff you found in the first game? The one about changing the past or something?
Oh, you mean, by first game, you mean Origins?
Yeah, in Origin. Those who came before, they're weird.
Yeah,
that stuff you found if you went looking for the temple things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he has a point. Well, no. I have to actually look that up.
Ethan brings up that he believes it's pre-Troy. We have to do a little research because Brent's our big history guy. We might not get to it right now, but I'm
intrigued. I liked Origins. I love Assassin's Creed, so I want to know where this is going. My one gripe, and this is the one. Man, let the boating go.
Are they
seriously?
Are they doing boating?
Let it go. Come on. This is not the time period for it. There are no cannons. You only have arrows and flaming arrows and maybe weird catapults. Everything about sea battle in that era is slamming your ships into each other.
That's what Origins was. That was painful.
Not fun.
Mm-mm.
Let it go.
Yeah. It's not... Yeah, they really do need to just let it rest. I like how they're like, well, we didn't have boating in Syndicate or Unity, so we need to bring back boating. No, guys, that wasn't what messed that up. So anyways, that was Ubisoft. And there was a PC gaming show, but I didn't watch anything about it. Sorry, PC gamers. My bad.
I couldn't find anything that I would want. I still am a decent PC gamer when it comes to RTSs and stuff, but I didn't see any big RTS announcements.
So the next one was Sony, and they took a novel approach, and I'm going to go ahead and say they failed. Because
they overcorrected?
Yeah, they overdid it because they've been really confident in themselves the last few years, and they overdid it with their confidence because they had people go in between different presentation areas that ended up being...
Yeah, that's what I thought. So it's post-Troy.
Okay.
For anyone. So yeah, the game is post when the Battle of Troy took place.
Okay, cool. And... So they ushered them into different areas based on these large games. They were trying to focus more on big games than small games.
Did they do it? So did they do it past The Last of Us 2? Because I thought they were in the same place.
They did it, yes, because that's why they had those intermissions in between the big chunks, is because they move them into different areas.
Okay.
So the first one was Last of Us Part 2, which, don't get me wrong, it's gonna be good. I'm gonna buy it.
I'm excited.
But... it didn't look anything... They didn't make anything pop there.
Well, we didn't see gameplay, that's for sure.
We did.
Did we?
We saw a lot of gameplay.
Yeah. What am I thinking? Yes, we did see gameplay.
And it didn't look... It looked like the first game again.
Oh, yeah, right, because I said to you, I'm curious where the clickers are.
Yeah. This just shows the people conflict.
Well, that raises the question, how many clickers would be left? Just fungus would decay their body. But anyways, not
well, but if they haven't found the cure, there should still be clickers left.
People that become clickers.
Yeah.
You're right.
So, it'll be good. I'll buy it. Whatever. I'm down.
I still need to play the DLC of the first one.
You do, because that really gives you more context to Ellie's journey through self-discovery.
I've seen people point out in the trailer that after it cuts away from them dancing, she's wearing her bracelet.
Oh, from the DLC? Or
that
what?
Ellie, so when they're dancing, the one girl, I can't remember what her name is. The one she met in the DLC, I suppose.
No.
It's not the same girl?
No.
I can't remember, Anthony, if you've played The Last of Us, the first one.
I have.
I know you have. But anyways, they showed a clip where the girl has the bracelet on, and then when it cuts to the gameplay scenes, when she's stabbing someone, Ellie has on that girl's bracelet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Fascinating. But I don't know. I'm going to play it, but I'm not as pumped as I thought I would be. But I kind of had that idea going into it.
Okay, yeah, you did. I'm sorry, Anthony. I do remember.
But yes, I would agree with viewer Ethan's point on this. They did kiss for a really long time. After that first...
Is that what we got? We got something else, but I don't remember what came after The Last of Us 2.
Well, that was Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay.
Which to me was the highlight because Ghost of Tsushima looks rad. So you play as a samurai back in feudal Japan, and... I don't know what your goal is, but you wander the countryside as a samurai, and the fighting system looks more like a fighter than a brawler. I think it looks really interesting. And
that's a good question I am curious about.
So we'll circle back to that here in a second.
Okay.
Ghost of Tsushima, that game, it was gorgeous. The fighting system looked interesting. The fact that it's got an entirely Japanese voiceover track adds to the authenticity of what they're trying to go for here. And yeah, it looks rad. So Ethan,
I need to take a better look at it.
Yeah, is that a time period you're super interested in?
Feudal Japan? Yeah, it's an interesting one.
I'm curious to see how it plays out. Like that was the highlight of Sony's conference. But to circle back around, viewer Anthony points out that Joel in Last of Us 2 was pointed out to still be alive, or at least Ellie's old man. We assume that's
Joel. I don't know who else it would be.
I don't know.
I guess. Yeah, if he's playable, or if it's just he has to be because he's in the first trailer.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't feel like it's a spoiler.
No.
So he's in the first trailer, but I am curious, like Anthony brings up, if he's playable or not.
I have no idea.
It's solely her.
I mean, if he's not playable, there's a high chance he'll die because that's just their jam.
Was she the only one you played as in the DLC?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you need to play that.
Okay.
Though it wasn't a major focus point after Ghost of Tsushima, they showed finally. I forgot they were remaking Resident Evil 2. And not only did they show it,
I didn't forget. It was in the back of my mind, but I didn't expect them to show it. So you saw the mouse, and when they showed the PlayStation, I'm like, this can't be Resident Evil.
For a brief second, I thought it was going to be Resident Evil 8. And then
that kind of where I thought it was going.
Yeah, but then they're like, oh, remember Resident Evil 2 remake? I forgot about this. And they gave us a release date. Rad. January 25th. Yep. So that's sweet. I'm going to buy that game. It's more than just a reskin or a remaster.
Yeah, that's shocking.
Oh, well, they said that's what it would have to be when they announced it.
So I guess this is close to like when they remade the first one.
When they remade the first one for the GameCube.
Yeah.
So when they redid it for the PS4, they just made it shinier.
Yeah.
So this is more like when they remade it, except they rebuilt it. This jump from PlayStation 1 to GameCube was significantly less jarring than PS1 to PS4.
Yeah. Well, that's like...
Yes.
God, it's well over 15 years.
It is well over 15 years. Yeah, right? Anthony remembered it. See, nobody remembered Resident Evil. And then they're like, boom, it's done. Boom, it's coming out. I saw so many articles saying that the way they've redone it is awesome. So we'll be playing it. I'll be enjoying it. I don't know. I'm psyched. So we got 2 more things for Sony. One that...
At least
3?
Well, first Death Stranding.
So we won't bury the lead here. Death Stranding and Spider-Man were the 2 I had. What's the third one?
The Trover.
Oh, yeah. Trover Saves the World or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting.
So we'll get to that. Anyways, so they showed Death Stranding, which appears to be walking around. Sometimes a robot follows you.
I believe I told you, I said to Mark, I was like, so you're a glorified delivery boy?
Yeah. You walk around, a robot follows you.
I still don't know what this game is. I have a loose understanding.
Sometimes 2 robots follow you, and occasionally you use a baby strobe light to fail to get away from tentacle people.
Who look like Psycho Mantis.
Yeah, shocking. Like, guys, we need to reuse as many assets as we can.
I still don't get what this game is about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The time for being coy is over, Kojima. We need to know what this is about.
What is the plot?
Yeah, at all.
All I know is that
I heard interesting theories and...
Yeah, I mean, I've heard theories, but it's all in Iceland. That's even weirder.
Why is he wearing the suit?
I don't know.
Like, I don't know anything. And, like, I am not a Kojima fanboy, so all this puttering around, this is not doing it for me.
Oh, Kojima.
Yeah, so I don't know. Anyways, let's talk about the Spider-Man game, and we'll keep it relatively brief because we still got one more conference to do, and then we got to bring it home for our final thoughts. Yeah. So you talk about Spider-Man because I got it narrated to me by my girlfriend who didn't know anything about Spider-Man. So the Rhino became Rhydon. The Scorpion became first Scorpion Man. Then when I told her that was too close to the actual name, she changed it to Scorpiano. Yeah, I think she called Vulture the Hawk. Electricity Man. Yeah.
Well, so when the trailer started, because it first shows the raft, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, that's a ballsy move.
It's like the raft. Interesting start here. I'm intrigued because the trailer shows Vulture, Rhino, Scorpion. I like Electro. I like Electro's look. I've never liked either comic book version.
Well, viewer Ethan points out that Vulture had a Bane mask.
Yeah.
So is he not Old Man Vulture?
He is Old Man Vulture.
Okay.
So it's not...
Is he Michael Keaton? Did they bring back Michael Keaton?
He's not Michael Keaton.
Damn it.
They're bringing back Michael Keaton for the second Homecoming movie.
Excellent.
I liked Scorpion, but I'm hoping it's not just a suit, that he still has kind of the mutation thing going on.
But not the symbiote?
Oh, no, not... They showed that, Mr. Negative, and then someone that they don't show. We know Kingpin's going to be in the game.
There's been speculation it could
Doc
be Doc Ock. I personally think it's going to be Green Goblin.
Something, I think GameStop or someone accidentally leaked images of Shockers in the game. So I'm intrigued. I like a good Spider-Man game. This looks really good compared to all the other ones.
It looks like Spider-Man Arkham Asylum.
And
that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. And that's why I'm intrigued by it.
Yeah. You'll have to let me know how it is, because I ain't getting it.
Yeah, the more I've seen, the more hype.
And viewer Ethan pointed out that the Marvel Avengers game that might have been out there.
Oh, have they confirmed Norman Osborn's?
I know he also said that apparently Norman Osborn is in the game, but unknown if he will be Green Goblin. So
which is That's one of the two people are guessing is at the end of the trailer.
That's who I think it is.
The other's Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Is who people are guessing.
I'm curious. So, anyways, they pointed... viewer Ethan also pointed out that there was supposedly a Marvel Avengers game that did not make an appearance.
Yeah, well, there's also the rumor that it's set the same universe as the Spider-Man game.
Dun, dun, dun.
Is it Square Enix? I don't know, Ethan, if you remember who's developing this.
That wouldn't be Square Enix, would it? No, you mean the Spider-Man game?
No. The Marvel game.
Okay, I have no idea.
Well, that's what I'm trying to look at.
So, anyways... While you are looking that up, and while potentially our viewers are looking that up, let's segue into the last conference, which to me was tied with Bethesda below Microsoft, and that'd be the Nintendo conference. Now, I think that this conference showed
it's Square Enix.
No joke.
Yeah,
for the Avengers.
I remember it because people were kind of really pissed that they brought nothing about it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I could see that. What would they have showed up for? Listener Anthony asks about Rocksteady not showing up.
I had read some articles where people were upset that they didn't show anything. I mean,
were they expected to show something?
I think it's because people are kind of hoping we're kind of going to bring a, Grand Theft Auto 6. I mean, they did.
That's Rockstar, not Rocksteady.
Oh, the Superman game that people. There's no real confirm because it's loose. People were throwing some real shade that they didn't show up with a Superman game yesterday. So there's rumor that there's a Superman kind of Arkham Knight game gonna be out there, but it's because it showed up on 4chan.
You can't.
I know.
Okay, first off, you can't trust 4chan. Second, a Superman game to me is the second worst idea behind a Final Fantasy VII remake, which was not shown at the Square Enix conference.
To be fair, the rumor was that they nerfed him to the amount he is in the animated series.
But even in the animated series, he said that he holds back.
Yeah.
I
mean, I don't disagree with you, but...
They can't do a good Superman game. They can't. He is a god-made flesh. Unless your run-of-the-mill bad guys are going to have kryptonite bullets.
I think that's why the 64 game did bad. Well,
that's why they all do bad. Because it's impossible to capture what it is to be Superman in a traditional game. There's no progression there.
Well, and then the rumor said there were also supposed to be other DC heroes in it.
Yeah, I mean, so what? It's Justice League Light or what?
Yeah. I can actually get with that. A Flash game would be a better idea.
So, yes, viewer Ethan brings up Flash game would be a better idea because then they can go back in time and unmake the DC universe. Burn. Apparently, viewer Anthony says Rocksteady has apologized for not showing up, so that's hilarious. At least to me. Anyways, are you ready to move on to Nintendo?
Yep.
Cool. So, Nintendo, I believe this showed they got their groove back. And because they opened up not with one of an established franchise. They opened up with a game called Daemon X Machina, which is a butt rock mech fighting game with destructible environments. It looks cool for people who would like it. I think you might enjoy it a lot. You need to watch the trailer.
Okay.
I do not care.
Yeah, I definitely missed the opening. I only saw a little bit before I had to leave.
Well, and from there, they showed Xenoblade Chronicles 2 DLC, which I guess that game's doing well enough to warrant DLC. I haven't played it, just too Japanese for me. Chris, contributor, friend of the show, Chris, he had to bail out. And I remember when he was trying to get people to convince him to keep playing it, one of the comments was, it gets better after about 40 hours. I have beaten 3 games in 40 hours. I could have played the entire catalog of Supergiant games maybe twice. And you say it gets better at 40 hours? That's ridiculous. No, not doing it. Anyways, they also showed more about Pokemon Let's Go.
So we got to touch on this. So yeah, I know you. I'm interested in it.
Okay, go.
Like I said, I think when we talked about this last time, it may be one of the first actual mainstream Pokemon games I play.
Even though it is based on the 1994 Pokemon game, or whenever Yellow came out.
Yeah.
97 maybe.
However, we
2000.
Definitely got to touch on the Pokeball Plus.
Jesus Christ.
Is this because Carol wants to get one?
She's going to get one. So, in defense of the Pokeball... So, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Pokemon Let's Go was announced with a peripheral that allowed you to use a little... We'll get to that, viewer Anthony. The Pokemon Go Plus was... Oh, I'm sorry, Ethan. I'm sorry. I'm reading this off of 2 separate things. I apologize. It was announced with a Pokemon Go peripheral that basically served as one of your Joy-Cons. That's how I can be okay with the $50 price tag. It's basically a Joy-Con.
I'm getting flashbacks of the Wiimote incidences.
Where they would slam it into
it. I believe I told you earlier, I just have this vision of someone with their Switch out on the go, and they're like, I'm going to catch you, and they chuck it straight into their Switch screen.
Oh, and here's my question about it is, what do you orient the Pokemon Go, whatever, the Pokeball Plus thing? Do you do it towards your TV? Toward the Switch?
It's a good question.
Where...
It's a really good question.
Does it show I don't know. And I don't know the economy of this game. So you don't fight Pokemon. So you don't fight them in the wild. How do you level up? If you just fight trainers, how are you going to level up enough to beat the higher level trainers? Do you fight them multiple times? Do you have to grind on trainers? And if you don't fight trainers multiple times, the economy is going to be way different because you need money to buy Pokeballs. You're going to use a lot of Pokeballs because you catch them like Pokemon Go. Yeah. You're going to go through a bajillion of these things.
My belief is, based on Nintendo, we're probably going to get one more direct where they explain everything.
I'm sure I heard that they're still really hashing out the details of this. So we'll see how that pans out. And the fact that you can get a Mew by buying the Pokeball Plus.
Is that for sure
yes.
that the Mew is in there?
Oh my God, that pisses me off. God.
Now I don't want to continue on with that.
Ugh, Christ. Anyways, so that's a thing. They also announced Super Mario Party.
Yeah.
Coming out in October.
I was shocked we got a Mario Party this soon. I was thinking next year.
I want it to be better.
They went back to the way you wanted them to play it as.
They did go. They got rid of the cart thing that everybody rides around on.
They've gone back to single player, single individual characters.
They've also introduced the idea of using multiple Switches to play the games together in a unique way. So that was something. I want it to be good. We'll see how it works out. Viewer Ethan brings up the fact that there was no Metroid Prime 4. I didn't think we did. Prior to recording this podcast, Brent and I had talked about this, and I believe the only reason they showed us Metroid Prime 4 last year was because they needed to make sure everybody was all in on this. Nintendo never does a teaser like we saw Metroid Prime 4 as a teaser. They never say this game is in development. They wanted people to be absolutely on the hook. It surprised me 0% we saw nothing about Metroid Prime 4. It surprised me more we saw nothing about Yoshi. But after playing the Kirby game, I'm not particularly surprised because the Kirby game felt a little rushed. I think that Kirby is their franchise they can play fast and loose with. Kirby puts out some strange games sometimes. Yoshi, they need that to be a little better because Yoshi's New Island on the 3DS was not good. Yoshi's Woolly World was a delight. They need more Woolly Worlds, less Yoshi's New Island or whatever it was. That game wasn't great. But Super Mario Party, we're going to buy it.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. They also announced a new Fire Emblem game. If we were into Fire Emblem, that game would be rad. That game looks super cool. Yeah. I would recommend you look into that.
I'll look into it.
So,
interesting that they're bringing a... Have there been other Fire Emblems on actual consoles before?
Yes, lots.
Have there? Okay.
Mm-hmm. There were some on GameCube, some on Wii.
I'm just used to them all being portable. All the ones I know
Wii U had the Fire Emblem Heroes game.
Oh, yeah. Curious when we're going to get the Fire Emblem Warriors game.
Oh, that's what I meant. Because that's what the 2 Fire Emblem amiibo I have.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And then they remade... That was on 3DS, so never mind. They also said... Oh. No, you go first.
As I say, we got a lot of third-party announcements.
We did, and that's actually where I was about to go with this. Fortnite Battle Royale coming to the Switch. Who cares? Downloadable immediately. Since it was announced, downloaded 2 million times.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Plus crossplay,
so you can play You can play against people who are playing on PC or Xbox.
But not PlayStation.
PlayStation's their hubris is gonna get them sooner rather than later. Mm-hmm. And Overcooked 2.
Oh, yeah.
I am excited for that.
I thought you weren't a fan of the first one.
No, I was. I played it with Kraus, and because we communicate well and also don't sleep together, it worked fine. Because my girlfriend asked me, she's like, how come we didn't play this game? I go, because I love you and don't want our relationship to end because of it. It is very easy to get angry at people in Overcooked. And because me and Kraus hang out for about 6 to 8 hours a month, it's just one of those things you can let it go if it doesn't do well. Meanwhile, I have to sleep next to my girlfriend, so not gonna run that risk. I'm not, nope. But it comes out really soon. Comes out August 7th. They also announced the arcade darling Killer Queen is coming to consoles. We've seen that game before. You might not know it. It's a huge console, like 10 people can play. We'll circle around to that in a second, Ethan. So, Killer Queen, it's coming to multiple consoles. Don't know why Nintendo got the announcement on that one. And
Starlink is also coming because the Star Fox.
Right.
Because it comes with a Star Fox character like amiibo thing and the R-Wing model.
Nice.
For the Switch version. It looks pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie.
Man. They also announced Hollow Knight was going to be released on the Switch that day. That's exciting for me. I've been waiting for that game on the Switch for quite a while. It's a Metroidvania. I can't remember if it was kickstarted, but it came out either last year or the year before and was very well received as an independent game. I've been looking forward to it on consoles for a long time. The day of release, that was exciting to me. I'm sure I'll be picking it up even if I don't know when. Anyways, they also mentioned Octopath Traveler got an updated demo.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, apparently it's made a bunch of quality of life improvements. I'm glad that Square Enix is committing to this. It looks great. If you like classic RPGs, more power to you. I won't be picking it up. The final one?
Dragon Ball FighterZ is coming to the Switch.
Oh, I didn't see that on there.
Really?
Yeah, sorry.
Holy crap, that's huge.
Sorry, dude.
People are psyched.
Including you?
It really... Well, I kind of really want to play this game. Now it's on the Switch, I kind of want to get it on the Switch.
All right.
They said it looks great and it runs perfectly fine.
Hey, that's exciting.
It looks just as good as the other ones.
Nice.
Plus, it brings my hope up that a DLC for Smash will be Goku.
Okay, so we'll use that to segue. They announced the new Smash game, which they have explicitly, listener contributor Ethan brings up, is One Punch Man rumored for Fighters, I guess, and not Smash Brothers. They couldn't put Saitama in there.
In Fighters?
They couldn't put him in there.
Okay.
Like, his whole shtick is he defeats people in one punch.
It brings me right back to the Dragon Ball Z abridged Cell thing, where you just keep punching him and exploding.
No, that was Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star. Which reminds me, We'll get to it near the end. Nick Krause sends his regards about this episode that we're recording right now. I'll bring it up at the end.
Okay.
Anyways, so yeah, they could not put Saitama in fighters or anything. They couldn't. Like, it would ruin his shtick. So they announced Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, they have gone on record and said Ultimate is a new game from the ground up, but they're putting everybody.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
They have confirmed 68 playable characters.
From 30 different properties?
Yeah, from an insane amount of properties.
They said this is a world-breaking crossover?
Yeah, so that it is insane. And it will include, and they've rebalanced a ton of stuff, like the final smashes are faster. They've changed a lot of the technical aspects. A guy I know who plays Smash semi-professionally started gushing to me about all the changes they've made. It's really impressive. What's also impressive is the fact it comes out in December.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
December 8th?
Yep, you got it. As of now, they've announced 2 new fighters. One that they announced back during a direct, Splatoon Inkling is coming. Yeah. And they finally put Ridley in. I guess they caved. I like how they made Metroid 1 Ridley, where he's the size of your character. Like, instead of being a giant dragon, he's just the size of you.
Well, they had to make it work somehow, I guess.
Well, they've been saying for the last 3 games, Ridley's too big to put into these. So...
But Snake's coming back.
Snake's coming back. Wolf's coming back.
Wolf and Fox are interesting because they're Star Fox Zero, Wolf and Fox.
Yes, and they changed the character model of Zelda in this one not to be Breath of the Wild, but Link Between Worlds. Whereas Link is Breath of the Wild Link.
And they're bringing back young Link, which is super weird.
Bringing back young Link. They're also bringing back Ocarina of Time Ganondorf.
Yeah.
So, just a lot of interesting decisions. So, what we've been curious about is what this means for the amiibo situation. Because we have a Ganondorf Twilight Princess Smash, but not a Ganondorf Ocarina Smash. Yep. We have a Twilight Princess Zelda for Smash, but not a Link Between Worlds.
And we have a Twilight Princess Link.
We have a Twilight Princess. We also have a Breath of the Wild Zelda Link, but not a Breath of the Wild Smash Link. Yeah. They've said that there'll be a lot of cross-pollination here. I mean, I'm going to buy them. Yeah. That's all there is to it.
I mean, the only ones we saw at E3 picture were the Inkling and Ridley.
And they said there was going to be a Daisy because they made an interesting concession here. They said they're going to introduce the concept of Echo Fighters, which are basically reskinned characters. So, Daisy, while being a character different from Peach, plays exactly like Peach.
I mean, that's not shocking.
What's shocking to me is they're actually calling it as it is. They're calling it a reskin.
So, we missed a few Pokemon that are coming. Pichu.
Pichu's coming back.
What's Pichu?
Smash Melee.
Okay. Mm-hmm. The fact that they're bringing back the Pokemon Trainer is interesting.
Which means that they are going to also have to have an Ivysaur and a Squirtle amiibo. I'm not sure if they'll have a Pokemon. There's a Charizard amiibo.
Yeah, because Charizard was his own character in the last one.
Right. This is so strange.
Right? But that brings up the number of Pokemon from the last game. A lot of game characters. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm excited.
I mean, I'm probably gonna buy it day one.
Still really hoping Goku is the DLC character for this.
Viewer Ethan asks, aren't the Animal Crossing characters all Echo Fighter? So it's kind of like the Koopalings, where they look entirely different, but they play the exact same. So I think it's just different costumes for the Animal Crossing characters, and same with the Bowser Jr. I don't think we're going to get 7 more Koopaling amiibos, which would make me sad if we did, because I'm going to buy them. We are going to get a Daisy amiibo, because they said we're going to get a Daisy amiibo.
Hey, as long as I get a Snake amiibo. Cool.
Oh, there's going to be a Snake amiibo.
This does make me want to go get a few of the ones that I missed. It makes me upset that I didn't pick up a few from the Dying Corpse Toys R Us.
Yeah, R.I.P. and
Mii Fighters.
Which Ryu are coming back, shockingly. Ryu, I think you can still get through Best Buy, probably at a heavy discount, too. So, I don't know. I'm going to buy it.
Oh, yeah.
So, no question about that. So, people were a bit... They were harder on the Nintendo conference than I feel like they should be, but I felt like Nintendo was significantly less pandering than they've been for the last, basically since the Wii U came out.
I mean, they brought a lot of third party. Like, to me, that was a huge deal.
A lot of third party and a lot of release dates. We didn't see that in a lot of the other conferences. We saw years, we saw months sometimes, we saw windows, but we didn't see dates. We actually got dates at the Nintendo conference.
I think people were just like, we want just IPs announced constantly, and I'm like, that's not...
And friend of the show, constant contributor Nick Krause says, there wasn't too much sizzle there for him, but it's because they've changed the news cycle of these conferences. It's no longer you have to wait 6 months to get something. They'll announce something about every 2 months. More people are doing things akin to the Nintendo Direct model, which I am all for personally, because it means you have news during the slow months. Yeah. It no longer goes from March to September without you hearing anything. So, anyways, we have gone dramatically over our normal allotted time, but it's E3. We did this last year too. We did it live. Curious how that's going to pan out for the editing.
We're gonna see.
Yes, right. Anyways, why don't you give me your breakdown of how the conferences went for you? We'll go with the 6.
I think Bethesda, for me, topped it. And I think Nintendo came in second.
Okay.
Microsoft and Sony. Microsoft was better than last year. They did bring a lot of stuff. So I'm going to give them points above the way they were last year.
Now, is it just because you don't care about what they're doing that they got ranked lower? Okay.
I think that's part of it. Plus for me, in order for them to... They're going to have to prove to me that they're going to keep this a constant. This isn't just a show of force.
Here's show of force. Awesome. Anyway, so...
then I think Sony's after them, and then EA and Ubisoft, and then EA was last.
Yeah, dead last. Just as a quick aside, thank you, viewer Ethan, for sticking with us this long. We know that you're in Wales, so it is significantly later there for you. Big thumbs up. We'll try to have you back on the show sooner rather than later, buddy. Anyways... For me, Microsoft was the winner because I really felt like they doubled down. So, quick side note, Anthony, are you from Wales?
No, I think you meant thumbs up.
Oh, yeah, big thumbs up. Oh, he wants to be on the show?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you never told me that.
Anthony's the one who wants to do Horizon Zero Dawn with us.
And Resident Evil. Okay. Resident Evil?
Mm-hmm.
What would you have to contribute to that?
I played the Resident Evil games.
Which ones?
1, 3,
have you
4,
beaten them?
1 and 3. Not 4.
You beat the first one?
5.
You beat the first one?
Yeah. Well, we co-opted, me and Cody.
Okay. So anyways. Oh, there we go. You missed Halo, Anthony. Sorry. Horizon Zero Dawn and Resident Evil, though. We can still do those, 100%.
Well, man, you've still got to completely beat Horizon Zero Dawn.
Well, yeah, I got to beat the DLC, and you have to start it. But Jake is chomping at the bit.
Well,
anyways, so restarting my thing here. Microsoft won it far and away. Even though I'm not a big fan of the Xbox this generation, they really showed a commitment to bringing quality games. And there's some concern over the fact they acquired smaller studios. I think they're trying to give more flexibility to these smaller studios. I don't think they're trying to ape their style.
I need to see past the first year of them owning them.
We'll see how it pans out, but I think they've had to take a big old slice of humble pie the last few years. Number 2, it's between Nintendo and Bethesda because I think Nintendo had more at their conference, but Bethesda had concentrated what I wanted at their conference. So I'd say Bethesda came in second because Doom sequel, rad, new Fallout, that I can play online and don't care about the fact that I have to play online. Rad. Wolfenstein news, super rad. The Nintendo conference, I liked it. I see what they were doing. It wasn't the best. It was exactly what they said it would be. So I'm not going to fault them for that. And Sony tried something new and they failed. That's all there is to it. They tried to focus on getting big chunks of select games. They tried to make it a whole multimedia experience, I wasn't feeling it. A lot of people weren't feeling it. I give them props for trying. And after that, Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed, cool. And EA, whatever. EA needs to stop having conferences. What? They didn't have anything.
Yeah, okay.
Like, just do an online showcase.
Yeah, okay. They had a few things I liked, but you make a valid point.
The only thing they had was the Boom Unravel 2 is out today. They could have had a 30-minute come to our booth and we'll announce this.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't need it. They have... Ubisoft and EA feel like they have not changed at all, and either they need to change or stop. That is my opinion. Sony tried to change. It didn't work, but they tried. Microsoft doubled down on the quality. Nintendo acknowledged that they can start actually trying to spread their wings instead of focusing on delivering fan service. This was a good E3, and it showed, we've talked many times about how conferences have to evolve. We saw that this E3.
Well, and I was going to say that because I feel like the last two, we talked about the last two, how we weren't wowed, last two E3s before this one, and I feel like I didn't feel that way this time, but I don't know if it's just I've tempered my expectations.
I thought over half of the presenters tried something, and it may not have worked great, but they tried something new. This wasn't the exact same conference between everybody the whole time. I thought this was a really good E3. Now, that being said, when I asked Krause if he wanted to come on, he said, only thing I got is Sega announced they were localizing Fist of the North Star.
Oh, we also missed for Nintendo Mega Man 11.
That's not just Nintendo.
I know, but
that's
it was
Capcom.
Big that it was coming to the Switch.
Yes. So, Capcom had Mega Man 11, but that release date got leaked a while back. That was a big thing. Sega had some announcements, like they talked more about Sonic Team Racing. There was a smattering of other stuff.
Oh, yeah, who showed Sonic Team Racing?
Nope, I didn't think anybody showed it officially.
The trailer. It was interesting, but...
Viewer Ethan brings up the fact in The Last of Us 2 presentation, they made a joke about the Kingsman scene in the church. That was a little awkward delivery right there. Like, he really tried to roll with it, but it didn't. They tried.
Yeah.
I'll give them that they tried. I'm not going to say that this blew my socks off, but it really seemed like everybody was trying this year, with the exception of EA and Ubisoft. Guys, try harder. Look at Microsoft. Microsoft did good.
Yeah. I feel Ubisoft tried, they just failed really horribly, and EA just hangs on to the same things.
Yeah, unfortunately. Anyways, anything else, Brent?
No, I think we can wrap this year's E3 up.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Everybody who tuned in live, thank you very much. It was always a delight. So let us know what you thought about this year's E3. Did we dramatically misrepresent one of the conferences? Is there something that we should have touched on? There's not a lot of announcements after the conferences, but there's always a little something. Tell us what you really liked, what you really hated. Are you more excited for the Tokyo Game Show? Let us know. But until next time, my name is Josh, and this is Co-Opinions.